1920, right? That is not 1920. Hey. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Nitya Lila Pavitra Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivakaracharya Asosata Sata Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivakaracharya Asosata Sata Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Siladar Thakur Ki Jai Prem se ko Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai Prihat Midanga Ki Jai Sama Veda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Gaura Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glorious assembly devotees, Hare Krishna, all glorious assembly devotees, Hare Krishna, all glorious assembly devotees, Hare Krishna, all glorious CC, Guru and Gauranga. So we start with the Transcendental Dairy by His Grace Hari Shauri Prabhu. This is volume 4, and we are in a chapter here is called Sri Vrindavan Dham. In regard to the preaching there, Tamal said that despite Brahmananda's personal difficulties, he had continued to act very responsibly towards our life members. Thus, it was still very favorable. He had managed to repair much of the damage done last year by Chaitanya and Chaitya Guru. Tamal said that the temple was located, and so he had encouraged them to find a land in a better area with the support of the life members, construct a new temple. Indians find it difficult to relate to a converted house as a temple. Brahmananda has cleared all the debts and has even managed to save 100,000 shillings. There's little preaching done to the Africans. Tamal wrote, Brahmananda does not want to do this due to so many bad experiences with African devotees in the past. However, what is the use of an African yatra if we don't preach to the Africans? So we have to encourage Brahmananda to take up a program of simply chanting and prasadam distribution to the Africans. It does not matter if they join full time. Tamal's submission was that Brahmananda's problem were mainly due to the neglect of senior devotees, and he proposed a solution. It seems advisable that since our movement is so big and it is difficult for your divine grace to visit everywhere, that from time to time the GBC must pay visits to other zones to avoid such situations as this from the recurring. Perhaps this could be partially done. However, it is appointed GBC chairman each year at Mayapur. Anyway, Brahmananda is now feeling enlivened and Krishna conscious. Tamal also added a paragraph on Mombasa where they went after visiting Nairobi. Navayugenda Swami is doing very well. He is very Krishna conscious and is preaching vigorously. In general, Navayuganda has revised the bad situation. Now the members are becoming friendly. He has cleared all the debts and has saved 20,000 shillings. Kamal said that he also encouraged him to relocate to a better area. Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, The Science of God, Chapter 7, what Prahlad learned in the womb, Sloka 19 and 20. So I guess we read the whole thing. Atma Nidyo Vayasuda Eka Chetragya Ashraya Avikriya Swadrikhetu Vapyo Sanganavrita Ete Dvadasabhya Vidvan Atmano Lakshanai Padi Aham Mameti Asat Bhavam Dehau Mohajanet Jajet Atma Nityo Vayatsuda Eka Chityarata Vikriya Swadhitu Vyapako Sangana Vrata Hitai Dvasa Sabir Vidvan Atmono Lakshanai Praday Ahamadet Asambhavam Ihadau Mohajam Jajet Manisa Sasuda Ekakshityaga Ashrayaha Advit KridasVatiketu Vyapako Sanganavrita Etaidvada Sabir Vidvan Atmano Lakshanai Praday Aham Mamed Asat Bhavan Dehadau Mohajam Jajet Atmanidyo Varya Sudha Eka Chetraga Asaya Advikvida Sodiketu Vyakapo Sangana Vita Itai Dvarasa Vidvan Atmano Lakshanai Prade Ahamadita Satpavan Dehadau Muhajam Charet. Ladies. Atmanidyo Visasuddha Eka Shejaga Ashraya Advikriya Swadrikhetu Akako Sangana Vritaha Etai Dvadasa Vidvan Atmano Lakshanai Prade Ahamameta Satbhavam Dehado Mojajam Pajet Atmanityo Vayasuddha Tikashitadashraya Vira Swara Etritu Madhyosa Sanjana Kita Nitaidodasa Vidvan Lakshana Pradai Atma Samasa Satpavan Dehaja Mojajan Chajet. Synonyms, word for word. Atma, the spirit soul, the part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nitya, without birth or death. Avyaya, with no possibility of dwindling. Sudha, without the material contamination of attachment and detachment. Eka, individual. Chechajana, one who knows and is therefore different from the material body. Ashraya, the original foundation. Avikriya, not undergoing changes like the body. Swadrik, self-illuminated. Hetu, the cause of all causes. Vyapaka, speaking to the body in the form of consciousness. Asangi, not dependent on the body, not dependent on the body, free to transmigrate from one body to another. Anavrita, not covered by material contamination. Itai, by all these. Davadasabhi, 12. Vidwan, a person who is not foolish but fully aware of things as they are. Atmanaha, of the spirit soul. Lakshanai, symptoms. Pradai, transcendental. Aham, I. I'm this body. Mama, mine. Everything in relationship with this body is mine. Iti, thus. Asat bhavam, a false conception of life. Dehadau, identifying oneself with the material body and with identifying oneself with the material body and then with one's wife, children, family, community, nation, and so on. Mohayam, produced from illusionary knowledge. Trajet, must give up. Okay, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Atma refers to the Supreme Lord or the living entities. Both of them are spiritual, free from birth and death, free from deterioration, and free from material contamination. They are individual. They are the knowers of the external body, and they are the foundation or shelter of everything. They are free from material change, they are self-illuminated, they are the cause of all causes, and they are all-pervading. They have nothing to do with the material body, and therefore they are always uncovered. With these transcendental qualities, one who is actually learned must give up the illusionary conception of life in which one thinks, I am this material body, and everything in relationship with this body is mine. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita 15.7, the Lord clearly says, Mamai viso jiva loke jiva bhuta. The living entities are part of me, therefore the living entities are qualitatively the same as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the leader, the supreme among all living entities. In the Vedas it said, Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam. The Lord is the chief individual living entity, the leader of the subordinate living entities. Because the living entities are parts or samples of God, their qualities are non-different from those of the Supreme Lord. The living entities have the same qualities as the Lord, just as a drop of seawater is composed of the same chemicals as the great sea itself. Thus, there is oneness in quality, but a difference in quantity. One can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by understanding the sample, the living entity, because all the qualities of God exist in a minute quantity in the living entities. There is oneness, but God is great, whereas the living entities are extremely small. Anyo Anya Mato Mayam, Kata Upanishad 1-20. The living entities are smaller than an atom, but God is greater than the greatest. Our conception of greatness may be represented by the sky because we think the sky is being unlimitedly big, but God is bigger than the sky. Similarly, we have knowledge that the living entities are smaller than atoms, being 1/10,000th the size of the tip of an hair. Yet the quality of being the supreme cause of all causes exists in the living entity as well as in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indeed, it is due to the presence of the living entity that the body exists and the bodily changes take place. Similarly, it is because of the Supreme Lord that within this universe that the changes dictated by the material laws occur. The word eka, meaning living individual, is significant. It's explained in Bhagavad Gita 9.4. Mastani sarva bhutani nachamtes avristita. Everything material and spiritual, including earth, water, air, fire, sky, and the living entities, exist on the platform of spirit soul. Also, everything is an emanation from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should not think that the Supreme Lord is dependent upon anything else. Both God and the living entities are fully conscious. As living entities, we are conscious of our bodily existence. Similarly, the Lord is conscious of the gigantic cosmic manifestation. It is confirmed in the Vedas. Yasmin dvi priti chanastam vijatam. I skip that. All these Vedic injunctions prove that both the Supreme Lord and of the personality and the minute souls are individual. One is great and the other one is small. But both of them are the cause of all causes. The corporally limited and the universally unlimited. We should always remember that also we are equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in quality. We never equal to Him in quantity. Persons with a small font of knowledge of intelligence find themselves equal in quality with the Lord, foolishly think that they are equal in quantity also. Their intelligence is called Avisuddha Buddhaya, unpolished or contaminated intelligence. When such persons, after endeavoring hard for many, many lives to understand the Supreme Cause, are finally in the actual knowledge of Krishna Vasudev, they surrender unto him. Vasudev Sarva iti Mahatma Sadulabha. Thus, they become great Mahatmas, perfect souls. If one is fortunate enough to understand his relationship with God, knowing that God is great, Vibhu, whereas the living entity is small, Anu. He is perfect in knowledge. The individual exists in darkness when he thinks that he is a material body and that everything in relationship with the material body belongs to him. This is called aham mama. Yes, mamo yaham aham mameti. This is illusion. One must give up this illusory concept and thus become fully aware of everything. Wow. Om Agyana Timirandasya Jananjana Salakaya Shaksho Minitamnina Tasmai Si Gurave Namaha. So first of all, thank you for giving me a chance to speak, and sorry, I have to speak in front of Maharaj, who is very much senior to me. So the seventh canto, Prahlad Maharaj is in the womb. It is a very interesting scenario. Recently, I've been first time in a cinema in India. We have seen Mahavata Nishinga. You also seen that here? Yes. I have a link if anyone wants, you can download it. So it was very interesting, and we see in the beginning of, very much in the beginning of creation, Hiranyaksha had dragged down the Bhumandal, the earthly plane, and then out of Brahma's nostril, Varaha appeared, and he saved the earth, and then his brother, by killing Hiranyaksha eventually, a big fight broke out, and Hiranyakashipu is very much upset that his brother has been killed, and he spoke great philosophy for the grieving relatives, and then eventually he wanted to conquer everyone, and he was thinking that Lord Brahma, in his knowledge, the creator of the universe, can give him a great boon. So he performed great tapasya. He went in the forest. And there's also a nice story. I was somehow or other remembering. I couldn't fully get the references from Nishinga Purana. When he first time was in the forest, and he was starting his tapasya with the aim of becoming immortal. Narada Muni and Parvat Muni came as birds, and they flew around Hiranyakashipu and they were chanting Om Namo Narayana. So Hiranyakashipu got greatly disturbed by that, and he went back to his palace and he was very upset, and he was trying to shake this mantra out of his head, and he could not get rid of it. So he took shelter in his wife, and he had whatever with his wife, and in his mind he was chanting the holy name. So then eventually he got drunk, he got rid of it and went back to his tapasya. So when he went back to his tapasya, then the demigods there took over back their place because Hiranyakashipu had conquered, and the heavenly planets after his tapasya, and when he was absent. So then they conquered it back, and they got hold of his wife Kayadu, and Indra actually wanted to kill her, and she was crying pitifully, and Narada Muni heard that, and he came by. And as we heard earlier, so actually while he was having Om Namo Narayana in his mind, he produced the sun, so that sun was now in the womb. Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad is called, not Prahlad Maharaj yet. Prahlad was in the womb, so Narada Muni came by and he said, "Oh, you want to become sinful by killing a woman?" And Indra said, "No, we're not worried about the woman. We're worried about the seed in the womb. This Hiranyakashipu given so much trouble, and how much more trouble we will get from his offspring." And Narada Muni said, "Oh, how much more sinful to kill an innocent child, and besides that, he is a great soul inside." So he took her to his ashram. We're not fully sure where his ashram was. He is having a Narada Kund in Govardhan, but that was a place of tapabhumi for his tapasya, because he was cursed by Daksha. He has to constantly travel, but he is in his ashram. And in this ashram, that is the situation where we are now, where Narada Muni is instructing Prahlad Maharaj in the womb. He's speaking knowledge to Kayadu. And it is said even when Kayadu sometimes was sleeping, Narada Muni was chanting and reciting scriptures and speaking scripture, and Prahlad Maharaj is learning here. So today's sloka is, I would say, rather technical. It is going in very great detail, and it basically very much defines our philosophy, Achinta Beda Beda Tattva, taught by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that the living entity is one in quality and different in quantity. So the whole sloka is making these 2 points, and it starts obviously with the idea that we have to give up the material concept of life. And it says in another place in Shastra also, in order to start spiritual life seriously, one has to be materially exhausted. We have to give up. We have to totally be disgusted with material life. We always say that but most of us are not pure devotees, so we're pursuing devotional service, but we're also having material desires, which we're also pursuing. So it is a constant struggle to subdue our material desires, which we're also still pursuing, to get them down so that spiritual life can be in the forefront. And then ultimately, somebody who is a Mahatma or somebody who's actually a wise person, he's giving up the idea of progressing in any way material. So it is a very sensitive thing as devotees when we come in contact with Krishna conscious. We're very enthusiastic, and I don't know, I was, for some reason, I was attracted to Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the beginning. Don't ask me how I was singing his bhajans. It must be something from my past life. I was into Jagannath, and I was reading those prayers and repeating them. That time I didn't know English. In German language, I had one book. So then you sing, maybe after 6 months, after 3 years, 5 years, you have some ideas. Then I will be like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and I can... And then as the years go by, we find it is not that easy to give up this material concept of life. So that is the foundation that we are seeing. I'm not this body, but I'm the spiritual soul within this body. We understand that theoretically, but to live that is not so easy. So I'm just here because my father got sick, and I had to almost spend 1 month in my father's place. This was terrible. There is like, and then his neighbors are there. They're nice people, they're nice German people, but they have no idea. They're like totally engrossed into matter. There is nothing. It's nothing. Even they're thinking they love each other, but they only exploit each other. So it is actually a very, very miserable situation to have been in this material world, and there is no way out. They will just take another life and another life. They try to get happy, and it is very brutal. Even my father can understand it. It's a very merciless situation, because how much ever you develop a place in this material world, it will be taken away. Uh, even the neighbor was understanding that race is 100%. Even they're knowing it. We are going to die. So whatever you build up yourself, you build your house, you build your business, you build your family, you build your foundation, and then you are going to get birth, death, old age, and disease. You get old, you get sick, and then you die. There is no way to escape that. So it is very merciless situation, this material world. But people do not want to go beyond. So as devotees, the first step is we understand that I'm not this body. And then the concept was here with Anu and Vibhu. The Lord is very Vibhu is great, and we are very small as Anu. So Prabhupada sometimes gives that example of a gold mine. So if you get a small piece of gold from the gold mine, the mine on the gold and the gold in the hand are exactly the same. But the quantity is so different. With that one small piece of gold, what you can do, but with a gold mine, so much gold you can do. So that is the first thing, the quantity and the quality. And of course, we can never become the Lord. In the last end of the purport, that was also caught, that after many years of endeavor for spiritual life, then the last snare of Maya is that I'm God. That I was in Maya. The Mayavadi thinks that I was in Maya, but now I've come out of Maya, and now I've become God. We see even in Vrindavan, we have some very popular holy people, and when they really speak philosophy, and recently somebody asked a question to one of those, he's promoting Radha Bhakti very vigorously, but when they really ask him a question, what about the soul and this after liberation, he said, yeah, like the drop of water falls back into the sea and merges with the ocean. So that is the idea is that God deludes himself and becomes whatever this, and then later on he can, when all the living entities merge again, then they become God. So that's the last snare of Mara. We have to be very careful, and we have to understand we are tiny, tiny, tiny and insignificant. If we think of the proportion of the situation, I mean, this is just to give an idea that we shouldn't take it literally. It is described that this material area is 1/4 of the entire creation. There's 3/4 spiritual, and this is 1/4. And then, but even in this 1/4, we have to understand the size of the of the whole thing. Is like Vishnu is laying down and he exhales, and universes come out. From his perspiration, universes come out. As they come into existence, then again, as Garbhodaka Vishnu, he enters again in every universe, lays down out of the navel, the lotus flower sprouts out. In the steam of the lotus flower, the planetary systems, Brahma sits down on top of the lotus flower. And then again, he comes inside that universe as Chirodakasha Vishnu, and he expands himself as a Paramatma into each and every living entity. I mean, the size and these universes are in such a magnitude of number that we can't even assume that. As a material example, a big bag of mustard seeds is mentioned. That's a lot of mustard seeds in one big body. I mean, it's just to make the point that we cannot. So it is huge. So, and it says here in the Soka that the Lord is like we are aware of our body. We are Kshetragya. The Lord is aware of the entire creation, and because he is in each and every part as a Paramatma. The Lord is making the whole thing happening. So it is very obvious that we're not God and we're not going to become God also. But we're saying that for us, that is common knowledge. Our kids grow up. Are you God? No, it seems to be obvious for you. But for people who are Buddhist or Mayavadis, for them it is very different, and it is amazing because they have spent many lifetimes to come to that point where they realize I'm not this body. They are transcendentalists in a sense, but that if you try to discuss that with them, it is impossible that they will agree upon that. And they know scriptures sometimes much better than us. They know all sorts of Puranas and they can quote and this and that, but they're very much in illusion in that situation. So we should appreciate what we're having. We're sitting in this temple room and we have Srila Prabhupada, we have the Srimad Bhagavatam, with Srila Prabhupada's commentaries, we have Vijay Gauranga Doila Nitai. We are in a very lucky situation. So as the next step is, I heard this morning the marathon is starting, so I'm not much of a book distributor. I did in the past. I was long back on the Padayatra, and I had been trained for some months in Germany, so I brought the Padayatra finally on #1 in the small temple category. Not because we did a big marathon, because we kind of did a marathon to the whole year. So I can tell a nice book distribution story in that regard. When I came on Padayatra, my Padayatra leader, Jai Vijay, he had that thing where he sold one book for 4 rupees, one for 5, one for 6, one for 7. We had like many different prices. And I just took it over like that. And then some Sankhya devotees from the West came and said, what is this nonsense? We sell them all for 10. So I'm like, okay, if that's that, so we sell them all for 10. And I'd taken over after Gopurnima in Mayapur. In 96, I became the Padayatra leader, and then we had traveled down to Andhra Pradesh. We were in some place in Andhra Pradesh, and the Padayatra office kind of stopped to exist, and my spiritual master, as well as Lokanath Swami, wrote me a letter and said, why don't you become financially self-sufficient? And I was cursing. I was thinking all these years this guy lived comfortable on the Padayatra money, and now they're stopping to give us the money, and I have to become self-sufficient. So I kind of was blocking that idea. I was not like, okay, let's do it. I was a little upset. And then I had one devotee, Amita Krishna. He was from Belgium. And he wanted to buy a motorbike to do motorbike Sankirtan, because we were going with the Padayatra, we're taking the deities and we're making announcement. And he said, I want to also reach out, go to schools, wherever, whatever is nearby, and I want a motorbike. But the guy was a bit, what is our ISKCON slang, spaced out maybe, some degree. I wasn't fully like sure if I want to, do that thing. And then he said, oh, when I left Belgium, that Hridaya Chaitanya, I left some little money with him. If I bring that money and spend my money, can I buy the motorbike? I said, okay. Then long story, the check came. It got stolen in the temple by somebody. I don't know how we encashed the foreign checks that happened. So I had to go there. I had to put my fist on the down, now get my money back. So I got that check. We bought the bike. And then I gave him a donation book. I said, now you spend at least 100 rupees on petrol every day. Get me a donation, 100 rupees per day. Here's a donation book. So after 2 weeks passed, he said, look, man, I can't collect donations. But I can sell every book for 10 rupees more. And I was thinking, yeah, but then some people will meet our devotees, this, that. But it struck an idea in my mind, and I used to have an Istagosti every Sunday. So I had an Istagosti, and I said, why don't we sell all the books for 10 rupees or 15 rupees more? And see how much our book distribution go down, and see we're making some profit. And everyone agreed. And it's no lie, it's no exaggeration. By the end of the month, our book distribution doubled. And from there, we were just flying ahead. The idea is that we're also making a profit. I don't know what it was. Krishna and Mahaprabhu and Prabhupada being pleased from there on. We were climbing the charts in the book distribution, in the Sankirtan newsletter. So yeah. So Krishna was pleased. Prabhupada wanted us to make money with the books. And I was thinking the score will go down, but it literally doubled. So we're sharing the knowledge with others. We're giving the books to others. They're time bombs. Sometimes they're standing in people's houses and they don't know what to do it, and they give it to their nephew or to somebody else, and he reads it, and they become devotees, and they get the knowledge. And the first thing to understand is that I'm not this body. All right? I was last minute the class, a little bit prepared, not much. Are there any comments or any questions?
When you read the late verses that Prahlad was preaching to his companions,
Yeah,
it surprised me that these small children were actually receiving such high philosophy.
yeah.
It's very difficult to accommodate it.
Well, how it is possible that Srila Prabhupada, what is that, turned hippies into happies? In such a short amount of time he made. So same, I guess he's one of our Mahatmas, Prahlad Maharaj, right? He had a great potency. So Jai Vijay Ginanda Dodi Taiki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So he must have had the potencies, and they were all nice demon kids on top of that. They were not ordinary kids. They were the cream of the demons. But I guess they were also not so much contaminated with misconceptions at that point. And Prahlad Maharaj was having the pure teachings. So the purity is the force, right? That is there. So more pure we are.
It was in other yoga. It was in other yoga. The people were not so disturbed in the mind.
That we can also say it was in the beginning of creation, yeah. But there was the demons. It was very clear cut, they were in different, on different planets. Later on, now they're in the same body in Kali Yuga. We have a little demon and we have a devotee inside. So, but in those days, they were tightly separated. So Prahlad Maharaj was definitely in a difficult environment like we are now. And the sons of the demons got preached by him and they took it over. Yeah, it is amazing actually, yeah? Because what is it, Samaka and Sanda and Amaka, they were teaching the demonic philosophy, the diplomacy, and all sorts of things.
I was thinking about this because I was supposed to give this class tomorrow. But it's nice because this theory is endless. You can speak so much about what
Yes.
Prahlad Maharaj is doing. So my thought about this was Prahlad Maharaj is a disciple of Narad Muni. For Narad Muni, he has the ability when he spoke to the sons of Daksha, 1,000 or 10,000.
Yeah.
He made them all devotees. There were no deviation, nobody blew. So he had a certain group spirit. And that was my thought about even Prahlad Maharaj and his classmates. They must have a certain group spirit. So young boys playing together, and each of them is trusting Prahlad.
They were, they were friends, yeah. Nice idea. And Daksha eventually cursed Narada Muni after he liberated the first batch of 10,000. He was pretty upset. And it was his given duty to populate the universe.
And Prahlad is a direct disciple of him. He always has the words of his Guru Maharaj.
Nice. That answers Maharaj's question. as the guru to the disciple. All right? Any other question or comments?
There was in this movie, there was one scene which I've seen on YouTube, that the classes were quite cool to brother. And then until he hold it back and was rescuing one of the demoniac classmates. And I don't know if this is a scripture. And then they were seeing his creed and how compassionate he is. Someone who is creed is also compassionate. That was interesting to see.
Yeah. No doubt he was compassionate, and that is a quality. I'm not sure we want to refer too much to the movie also. It was very well done. That devotee who did that, he's actually from Ghaziabad and no, Faridabad, from Faridabad temple. He actually put his life on the line to produce that movie. He had borrowed so much money. If the movie would have not become a success, he would have been finished, but it became a great success. But you see, it was very much dramatized. I liked it how they did it, like Hiranyaksha captured Bhumi Devi, like a beautiful young girl, and put her down. Yeah, but it was well done, but it was a bit dramatized. So I haven't read the story where Prahlad Maharaj rescued another friend in any Purana, but so. Anyone else? Jai. Kantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. No, Gauradesh Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai.